Hey folks, how are you doing today? Now, welcome to this episode of The Grow Show, where I'm going to be talking to Jodie Fletcher from Promotional Products, and we're going to be talking all about, guess what, promotional products. Now, these are products that you can give out at events, you can send to people during the post, and Jodie's going to be talking about her business journey, lessons she's learned along the way, and also how you can use these products to make a fantastic impression for your customers and potential new clients. So, I'm going to bring Jodie in. And Jodie, how are you doing today? You right?
I'm really good, thank you. Yeah, really good. Kind of glad it's a little bit cooler.
It is. So the people who are watching this, we're recording this on Wednesday after the Monday and Tuesday. They've been two hottest days in the UK as of time of recording. Bit cooler. Yep. Not much, but a bit cooler.
I'm a bit more in control today.
Good. So Jodie, tell us how you help people on a day-to-day basis, and tell us a little bit about Chili.
Okay, so we help people find all sorts of different brand marketing, merchandise and corporate gifts. Anything really with your logo on it. So whether it's things like pens and mugs, mouse mats, less so now than in the old days, corporate clothing, anything that companies have that they give out to customers, they give out to prospective new employees, give out to new employees when they first start, long service awards, anything like that really that helps to keep them in their customers' minds, in their sort of looked positively on by their employees and by their other businesses in the local area really, or the national area.
Nice. And how long has Chili been up and running?
So I set up Chili in 2008. So 14 years now, which is mad. It's almost exactly 14 years, which, yeah, it's just absolutely flown by. But yeah, quite a long time. And before then, I was working in a recruitment agency, which I absolutely loved. So I've kind of jumped on with what you said about how Chili started.
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay, so I did a degree in what turned out to be food marketing, and then went and worked in a builder's merchant doing their marketing, which was awesome. Much more glamorous than it sounds in a builder's merchant, because I got to organise loads of sales promotion trips, which was really, really cool. So while I was there, I did 3 cruises that were work. So don't often get to go on a Caribbean cruise and call it work. So that wasn't bad for a first job. But the best thing with that was that they bought a lot of merchandise. So I went to some of the branded merchandise shows and just loved it. And I think that's where I got my complete excitement over branded merchandise. After that job, I went to work in a recruitment agency to do their marketing. It was an amazing company and a great opportunity. But it wasn't big enough to have a full-time marketing person. So I ended up doing a lot of recruitment as well. While I was there, I learned loads about business as a whole, sort of outside of the marketing area, and became branch manager, but worked under the most brilliant boss, who is everything that I would ever hope that I could ever be in a boss or in a business person. And I learned so much from her, but recruitment just isn't my passion and wasn't my passion. So I knew I wanted to get back into my pens and my stationery really. But working there allowed me to learn so much that's been so useful every day since I set up Chili. So I ended up there for a really long time because I didn't really want to leave. I wanted to stay in the company but be doing this. So yeah.
Nice. And it's always nice to kind of hear someone kind of know what their passions are in business and in life, and then kind of go back to it after a while. Because sometimes you do need that slightly different kind of circumstances or experiences to realise, actually, I did miss out.
Yeah, and I don't think I knew when I was earlier on in my career what I wanted to do. It was, I loved the event management side of it. And I think if you'd asked me in my first job where I thought I'd end up, I think I was quite swayed by all the cruises. And I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to go into event management. But
well, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you in that respect? Yeah.
Absolutely. But that was when I was in my early 20s. And to be honest, I think I deal with a lot of event management companies now. And I think it's an absolutely amazing career when you're young. It's harder when you've got a family. Really hard to fit in those kind of long stints away or short stints away, but with really long days in the run up to it and afterwards. So I think I would have loved it, but this is much better for me.
Yeah, definitely. And you've got to make sure that whatever kind of profession you're in it works for you, not only your passions, but your life as well. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm talking to a couple of event management companies at the moment, and it's, well, to be fair, over the last couple of years, it's been a massive struggle. They've really kind of gone through the mill, which obviously everybody has had to deal with different bits, but it has been proper tough. But nearly every one of them said, we're looking to kind of sell the company at some point in time.
Oh, wow.
It's not a long-term option for them.
No.
It's something that they're enjoying at the moment, and they're in their 20s, so yeah, slightly younger, but yeah, they are looking to kind of be in it for a while, then sell it off to someone else.
Yeah, I think it's that those 3 o'clock starts and 11 o'clock finishes, you can only do so many times in it before you completely burn out. So
yeah,
thankfully, I mean, I do some of those really early starts or those really late finishes now, but I do it when it works for me. Those early starts are because actually I want to have 4 hours off in the day to go and watch Sports Day or something else, and I can do that. And
that's important.
Absolutely. Yes.
So let's talk about promo items for a little bit. So first of all, what are they? Let's break it down. What are they, and why should people invest in them? Two big questions, and probably the most commonly asked questions that you get, apart from what type of pen should I get?
Yeah. Promo items are really anything. It's split into more than really just promo, because obviously you've got promo, but then you've got more premium things and gifting. But loosely, anything really with logos on. So things that companies are going to use to be remembered or to be thought favorably of, or to open doors, or to reward people, to thank people. It's kind of endless where and how they're used, but it is anything that you've seen with a logo on it really throughout. You don't really realize it, and I've still got customers now where I haven't obviously explained everything that we do, but they'll come and they'll say, this is a really random one, but can you do? I'm like, yeah, cool. Because they might have bought clothing from us and not realized that we could do the notepads, or it's just that range of stuff is so big that that people don't always realize just how broad the scope is. And actually even things that aren't normally branded can be branded. We've branded horse rugs and the numbness that go underneath the saddles. It's it really is anything that you that if there's a way that it could be branded, then it can be really. So things can be engraved into tiny spaces, even when you can't get close to them. Different kinds of print work for different items, depending on how fiddly they are. Sometimes people say, oh, I've got some, I can't think of it now, something, can you brand it? That can become more tricky. It can be possible, but it always involves quite a lot of testing, because generally when we're buying stuff, we're using when we're selling product, I'm buying it from the person who's printing it, and they know that the inks are going to adhere and they're going to stay. Because what you don't want to buy something and after it's rubbed, you've used it a couple of times, you've touched it a few times, and the logo's all gone, because that would be terrible. So where we can sometimes print onto things, it's more tricky. But certainly clothing, sometimes people say, oh, I really want this item that needs to be really just so, especially with clothing, because people want to look nice, don't they? It's really important. And sometimes there's so much range of corporate clothing, but without trying loads and loads of stuff on, it can be really hard. So sometimes we'll say to people, go and buy something retail, and we can get them branded. It varies a bit on quantity, and sometimes we'll send someone to a local embroiderer to do it, but it's that massive scope of stuff that can be branded. And I've really gone off on tangent now.
No, it's fine. That's fine. And do you know what the good thing about it is? That you've mentioned about the broad and depth of what you can supply people. I can imagine though that that's only a small proportion of what you get asked for. I can imagine. Am I right in thinking that most people will ask for the same types of items over and over again? Have you got your top 5 or top 10 items that people go for?
Yeah, it's still very much mugs, bottles, notebooks, pens. Those are the real bags still, loads and loads of bags. Those are probably the top 5 items. Things like, as well, like sticky notepads, they're really, really popular. and desk pads, as well as the, you know, the sort of the notebooks that everybody thinks of, the hardback notebooks, like moleskin type.
Yeah.
We can do proper moleskin, but on the whole, a lot of the time people want a really nice notebook that's not the premium moleskin one, that's somewhere in between. And there's a great range of those. Those are a massive seller. And hardly a day goes by where there's not an inquiry for one of those top 5 products. Be a very weird one.
Yeah. And how has that changed over the last kind of couple of years? Because I'm guessing a lot of, and please correct me if I'm wrong, sometimes you're talking to a lot of people about expos and events and that kind of stuff. I know we're talking ourselves about what I could use as a giveaway items at events and expos. But obviously, over the last couple of years, we haven't had those. So has your industry changed over that kind of period of time?
Massively. So in 2020, when all the events stopped, it just stopped. The whole kind of industry ground to a halt. Then face masks and hand sanitizers became a thing that we'd not really. Hand sanitizers have always been a product, but not probably one I'd sold 2 or 3 orders of in the years up until 2020. And then it was all about the hand sanitizers and the face masks. And then people got more creative and realized that it wasn't going to be that initial 3 weeks that we thought we were shut down for. It was going to be a much longer, bigger impact to people working from home. So we had some amazing inquiries and jobs that we helped customers with for sending stuff out to their employees at home. It was really a case of making sure that staff, once they'd been sent home to work, weren't just abandoned and didn't feel forgotten, still felt part of a team. So that was really fun. We did some really good things, and one that really sticks in mind was the customer did a cocktail making, online cocktail making class. So they've got employees all across Europe, and we sent out a cocktail shaker and kit, glasses, and had a recipe card, and it all went to everybody at home so that they could then join in this online Zoom with all their stuff, and they had t-shirts that were branded and everything. So it's kind of all about making sure that everybody still felt very much part of the team and appreciated and valued, even though they were working on their own at home when they were perhaps used to being in big offices. So that was a big change.
Yeah, I can talk from personal experience. My other half, from her kind of one of her clients, she had a mug with 4 or 5 different sachets of hot chocolate and a few little bits for self-care, and it was a real nice kind of thing to get received through the post. We weren't expecting it, and because that's nice,
really nice. Yeah, and there was a big move towards that, and actually post-COVID those are still big things. But the other thing that really happened and really changed in the last few months particularly, but it's been ongoing for ages, is a real shift towards a lot more eco-friendly merchandise. People are so much more aware now of the environmental impact of what they're having. There's been a really noticeable shift in people not just asking for eco-merch, but actually ordering it, where in the past people used to ask for it and then they'd be like, oh, it's a bit more expensive, or it's, I prefer the look of that one, so we'll go with that one. And it was almost like people had ticked a box by asking about it and inquiring for it. But now they're going ahead with those more eco-friendly ones. It's really noticeably moving that way. And what's really lovely is that the industry is there already with it. So there is loads of good, genuinely eco-friendly options. There's quite a lot that perhaps isn't quite as eco-friendly as we might think, but there are a lot that are made in the UK and are genuinely easily recyclable or compostable and things like that. So it's good.
Nice. And I can remember talking to you on one of our other podcasts called The Next 12 Months about your 3 trends for your industry. And if I remember rightly, UK-based products plus also eco were 2 your trends that you kind of were talking about then. And that was recorded probably 4 or 5 months ago. Probably say kind of around that kind of time. And you've definitely seen that kind of shift in that side in that short space of time as well.
Yeah, it really is. It's amazing actually how much it's moving and how quickly it's moving to things that have been in the catalogues maybe 2 or 3 years, and people have been like, yeah, but I prefer the look of that one, or yeah, but that one's a bit more expensive, so we'll go with this other one or whatever. And now it's like, yeah, no, that's really important. More and more getting asked where things are made, so we're trying to more often put it, include it in the quote, Certainly if it's something that is made in the UK, something that because that's just got to be better. If we can be buying stuff that's supporting our economy, that is useful and is kind to the environment, then it's like a win-win-win-win-win, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I know when I'm looking at the promo items for me, the location where it's coming from and the eco side of it is definitely important, because I want to make sure if I'm giving someone a gift, and for me, it's a gift that I'm giving to them, whether that's a pen, whether that's a notepad, whether that's a pair of headphones, whatever it is, I'm going to give that person, and that represents me and my company, and I want to make sure I'm giving them the best quality that I can give. Yes, and talking about kind of quality, how much? I know this is how long is a piece of string question, but are promo items or promotional products expensive to buy? What kind of cost are we looking at if people wanted to get started with it? Would I dip their toe in it, dip their toe into the industry?
They absolutely don't need to be. So there is something for every budget. There's a lot of items that are under £1. There's a lot of items that you can get with either a no minimum quantity. It doesn't always work out as a great business. With a business brain on, it doesn't always work out very cost effective to have below minimum quantity, so with no minimum quantities, but a lot of stuff we can do from 25. Generally the more expensive the item is, the lower the minimum quantity is, and the closer to it being, if you like, the right price that product will be. For example, if you have really inexpensive like a cheap plastic pen and you just wanted 25 of them, you're going to pay a lot of money for that pen, where if you went to the perceived value of it, the cost would be a lot more than the perceived value of it, is what I'm trying to say. But if you went for a more expensive pen, the actual cost and the perceived value will be much closer on the really low quantities. So it's sometimes a case of just juggling and spending the budget wisely, not getting more than you need, but getting the best value you can for the budget. And we'll always try and advise.
Well, I was going to say, because there's so many variables, I'm guessing that's where you come in, because it's quite easy to kind of go onto some people's websites and say, oh, I want that pen, I want it, or that cup even, and I want to, buy 25 of them, and I want to put my logo on there. But actually, talking to someone like you can actually talk through the different options. I think that's where, for me anyway, that's the benefit of talking to someone rather than doing it all online.
Absolutely, and different options. We deal with a ridiculous amount of suppliers, in fact 200 and something suppliers that we've got, and we know what they're all up to. Some of them we don't use very much, as obviously there's some we're using all the time, but different ones will have different special offers on at different times, and different ones will put different special offers on just for us. So sometimes we'll have a special offer on a product that nobody else has got. So and obviously sometimes our competitors will also have offers that we haven't. I don't mean like that, but by talking to us rather than just going on a website, you might find that actually at the moment we could offer free origination on this pen, and that's worth probably £30 generally if it's a one colour print. So if you're not having loads, £30 saving is really useful and goes a long way towards making your budget go further, being able to get a few more, or being able to upgrade the product, because actually it seemed like it was a 60p pen rather than a 30p pen, but you only want a few of them, and actually that £30 saving means that you can have the 60p pen, and it's all good.
Yeah, that makes sense. And when it comes to kind of, so it says me not in the industry and going, yeah, that's fine, that makes sense. And there's you going, yeah, but you've got to consider this, and this, and it's all that kind
all
of
the
stuff.
extras. It's like the say £12.50 delivery for the pens, whether you're having 25 or 250. All of a sudden it's like, oh, actually it would make sense to have 100 rather than 25, or to have 50 rather than 25, because actually I'm not paying. Sometimes you pay less, and I'll always show that. Pencils are key. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, this kind of blends into my next question a little bit, and that's talking about strategy when it comes to using these items, because in my mind, it's easy if you go to an event, if you've got an event coming up or anything like that, because that's a definite deadline that you need an event, you need promo items for.
Yeah.
But how do you fit it in kind of long term? Have you got a particular kind of little kind of hints and tips about this? how do people kind of fit promo items into their strategy?
So I think, like I say, there's the obvious times to use it, like with events and stuff, but other times finding what's important and what's relevant in your industry, because timing makes such a difference. We sent out over the last probably the last 6 weeks, we sent out sunglasses to this year's customers, timed it so that it was going to land on the more recent, the initial one of the really sunny weekends, and it was absolutely amazing. People responded so well. We had loads of people tagging us on social media, a whole load of emails coming back in thanking us, and it was just about the timing. And then towards the end of last week, we sent out the cooling towels that you might have seen, because we knew it was going to be this, all the forecasts had said it was going to be this extremely hot weather. So we sent those out, and again, people have just responded so well. So I think it's tying it in. So if there's particular things in your industry, if you know that all your customers are massive football fans, send something out before the Euros or before the World Cup, or if it's something that can be related to tennis, send it out so it lands just before Wimbledon. Be timely, use those things that are around that you can use to your advantage. Don't just send out, it wouldn't have worked if I'd sent out these cooling towels and I'd sent them out in November. People have been like, thanks. But by doing it when it was going to be really hot, it made the impact massive, and hopefully then people will remember. And that's what it's all about. It's about making sure that the money that you spend on promotional merchandise gives you the best value for it, the best response, the most love from the recipients.
Well, that's kind of what you want, isn't it? You want them to feel a little bit special actually receiving it.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, I've seen on social over the last couple of days people posted pictures of the cooling towels that you sent through. And yeah, it's just genius idea, especially as we kind of know what's happening with weather. Well, with this heat wave, because it was, it's been forecasted for the last month or so that we were going to have some happening about this time. So people have been aware of it, but it's about knowing your industry and then matching it up to what your customers are. Yeah, and so by the sounds of it, it's bringing it back to the customer all the time.
Always bring it back to the customer. Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it might be slightly random, and it might not be what you think your customer would necessarily love. We did advent calendars some years ago, chocolate advent calendars before Christmas. They were brilliant. We had a brilliant response to them. And then people who you think, I hope that they'd like it, but I didn't really necessarily think, went on and then ordered them for themselves for the next year. And you think, wow, that's amazing. And it's just about being timely. And things like Christmas and Halloween and any of those happen every year, don't they? Easter, there's always things that are happening. So you can always plan a campaign around that. So if you've got a lot of chocolate loving customers, then there's chocolate promo items that can be sent out for any of those times. But sending chocolate out at this time of year would be a really bad idea. Melt in the post. Had that before.
I don't do melted chocolate at all. Either room temperature, frozen, or nothing at all. If it's it shouldn't be allowed. Let's put it that way. No. People shouldn't have chocolate if it's slightly soft on top. You've got me on this. This is one of my big bugbears. I can't even touch it. It's like no. And quickly tell you a real quick story. I once did a talk. I was giving a talk about Kinder eggs, Kinder surprises, and about the business lessons you can learn from Kinder surprises. And don't worry, folks, this is a tangent, and I know we're aware it's a tangent, but there's a point to it. And I was traveling, and I went to a shop and bought 32 Kinder surprises because there was going to be 32 people there. And part of the end, and during the talk, people would make the toy, and that was kind of part of it. And I didn't realise that travelling from Braintree up into Leamington, which is about 2.5 hours on a baking hot day with the Kinder surprises on the passenger seat, would cause them to melt. So I had 32 Kinder surprises that were all melted.
The surprise was.
It was a surprise, and we managed to salvage a few of them, but it wasn't my proudest moment. So melted chocolate is, whatever you do, if you see me in summer, don't give me chocolate. Just don't give me chocolate. I think it's easier to kind of keep it like that. I digress. Jodie, where did the name chili come from? Because it's quite a cool name.
There's no really great story for it. I think I'm quite a foodie with my degree being food marketing. I've always been really interested in food. I had one idea, had to design a little logo, sketching it, and I was like, yeah, that'd be perfect. And then did some more research and found that there was a brand new company doing promotional products called exactly that. So I was like, oh, back to the drawing board. What do I love? I love chilies, and I could picture it into a logo. So that was how chili became chili. And then brilliant friend Helen designed the logo, and
So, but the thing is, it's so recognisable.
Good. That's the plan.
It's almost like you planned it.
I had it in my car when I first started, and it was amazing how many people I'd meet somewhere for the first time, and I'd say it's chili, and they'd show them the logo. And oh yeah, I've seen you around, and it was amazing for like brand recognition in the early days. Suddenly you were trusted, and it was okay because it wasn't just a new company. It was this company they'd seen around. I was just driving around in my car.
Yeah.
So yeah,
nice.
I recommend getting car branded.
Well, there you go. That'll do, won't it? But in terms, so your company's been going 14 years, if I remember rightly. Is it 14? Yeah. Did you say?
Yes, it's 14 years.
What's the future of chili? What's the future of Jodie? What are you planning to do over the next couple of years?
Grow it a bit more. So I was always adamant that it was going to be just me, and I'd just do what I could do. But actually, I can't do enough. I want more. Like not more. I don't mean that, but I want to be able to help customers that we've got, and we've got amazing customers. And thankfully, most of the customers stay with us, and it's getting to the point that I've only got the same number of hours in the day as everybody else. So I was getting to the point pre-COVID where I was like, I can't sleep. There's so much going on, and I certainly want to keep the customers we've got, and be nice to find some more lovely ones too. So Lisa joined in December, so that we've got 2 of us now, so we can do just a little bit more. So it's really exciting.
Nice.
Yeah, and I guess
it's exciting times.
Yeah, really exciting. Yeah. Long-term goals I'd like to get that we've got maybe 3 of us, so that then I can go on holiday and can kind of turn off my laptop. Because for 14 years, every holiday I've spent an hour or 2 a day just doing what's absolutely got to be done each day. So yeah, that's the goal.
Surely, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you might be able to do that this year with Lisa.
I might well be, yeah.
Just saying, you might be able to.
So much to learn. There's so much complexity, so many different products. I think this year it'll be massive improvement on any previous ones, but I think there'll still be things that she will need some help with, and then maybe next year we'll be there. Fair play.
So we've covered a hell of a lot in the last half hour, including what they are, how to use them, working with strategy, your lessons, your business, loads of other stuff. I just kind of want to end this interview with a few kind of top tips, if that's okay. So for people just to kind of, if they're either getting started or they're looking into it, what should they look at? And kind of let's just sum it up, if that's okay.
They should look at who they're going to give the merchandise to, so that they make sure they get the right thing that people are going to find useful. Because if they find it useful, they're going to keep it, and if they keep it, it's going to work for you because they'll keep reminding them of you. Don't get sucked into ordering loads more than you need. It's better to have a smaller number of something that's just that little bit better, rather than boxes and boxes full of something that was a really good price, but actually you're going to have it for 20 years. And by the time you give out the last one, you're going to be so fed up with that piece of merchandise. And everybody that you've ever come across will already have one. And my 3rd tip is always think about the environment when you're choosing merchandise, because there's no reason for you not to have great merchandise that isn't ultimately bad for the environment. So just think about it and ask us, because we can always advise whether there's a better alternative, a more eco alternative, and something that will help. And that's really important. That's going to get more important to who they're giving it to, so that will reflect well on them.
Brilliant. And If people want to find more information about Chili, if they want to connect you on social, how can they? This is your time to throw out any website links or social stuff.
Okay, so the website is chilipromotions.co.uk. So www.chilipromotions.co.uk. I am Chili Jodie on Twitter and Instagram, although I'm not very active on them. Facebook and LinkedIn. The company pages are at Chili Promotional Products, or you'll find me, Jodie Fletcher, on there. Those are the best ways. My email is jodie@chilipromotions.co.uk, and I love to talk. So you can always give us a phone call on 01295 269 800.
Aces. And all of those bits. Yeah, there you go. That's it. Just take that segment and record it. Job done. But no, I'll put all those links to the socials and the website. I won't put the telephone number because you only want to speak to the people who actually watched it. So yeah, let's keep this telephone number just for the people who are watching this and listening to this. But I'll put all those other stuff into the description. So whether you're watching it or listening to it, it'll all be there. It'll all be there. And remember, if you've got any questions that you want to ask Jodie, put them into the comments and I'll pass them on to Jodie and I'll get a response for her. You know, for me, this is an opportunity for you to start looking at promotional products just as an option. Just use them as an option. And based on what Jodie said, you need to work out who your customer is and what work on the strategy and go from there. But Jodie, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for everyone for listening and watching this podcast and this video. If you want to become a guest on the Grow Show, pop along, send me a message and we'll get you booked in. And also remember, please connect with Jodie. She's brilliant at what she does and she will talk you through all the different options. So Jodie, thank you so much for joining us today. And also thank you very much for everyone for watching. Take care, my friends, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.